Thank you, Sarah. It is now 6 p.m. and I call this meeting of Perry Independent School District to order. Let the record show that former board members are present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Chapter 551. Please stand.
So bow your heads, please. Gracious and loving God, as we gather for our August school board meeting, we pause to seek your wisdom and guidance. As the new school year begins, bless our students, teachers, and staff with safety, strength, and a fresh start. Grant this board clarity, patience, and unity to make fair and wise decisions for our entire community. Lord, I ask for prayer for those that are still in the hospital, those that are battling some type of illness. Lord, just be with them and just lay your healing hands upon them. Lord, we thank you again for all you do for us. In your name I pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of July 20th, 2026, and July 31st, 2026? A motion by Mrs. Martinez, and do I have a second? A second by Mrs. Portano. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0. Anyone for public comment? No, thank you. It is now 6:02 p.m. and we're closing the regular board meeting to an open public meeting discussing the 26-27 ESSA Consolidated Federal Grant Application.
Yes, thank you, Board President Castillo, Superintendent Torres, board members present, and audience here. So what we're having is a public hearing for anybody that has any input for the 26-27 ESSA Consolidated Grant Application. That's the one that we do every year. That's all of our title funding that we get, Title I, Title I migrant, Title II, Title III, which is bilingual, and then Title IV, of course. Usually the way we do it is we'll put out a public notice on the newspaper, but this year I was like, what we did is we posted it on our website, and we gave everybody a contact, to contact Mr. Cortez or myself. We gave them a week and to get any input, or if they have any questions on what Title I or any of the title grants are about. This is aside from the regular Title I meetings that we have every year with our campuses, because these are all just compliance, requirements that we have to fulfill. And pretty much we just wanted to make sure that there was any input from them. Typically a lot of districts do this in June, so we want to do that maybe going forward, doing it in June. So that way we can submit the application before we go on break. But we do have to have this public hearing again to see if there's anybody that has any questions. And then as soon as we do that, we will submit the application this week. I kind of wanted to go over some of the things. Right now these are the planning amounts for our title grants, and in a little bit I'll kind of show what the trend has been for the last 5 years. So under Title I, and the reason I say these are planning amounts, these amounts don't become final until around December, January. Because what happens is, once a TA knows exactly what we're allotted based on our enrollment and our EcoDisc population, they'll adjust these amounts. Also, if there's any districts from prior years, if they had any carryover amounts, we'll be able to roll those over into this. One of the ones that we do always have a little bit of carryover is migrants. So for migrant, and you'll see it right now when I show the 5-year history, since COVID, migrant had gotten like an additional $100,000, and every year we try to spend as much as we can. Sometimes we have a bit of a hard time because we do have a very small migrant population, and Mr. Cortez does a really great job helping them out, right? But there's only so much we can do. So every year, the leftover from that has been rolling over, and so we do expect that around, like I said, around January, February. For Title II and Title IV, for those, what we do on the application, it's called transferability. So that allows us to use those two funds the same way we use Title I. And as you all recall, and we've said it, you know, in many other meetings, with our community and our staff, the majority, about 96% of our funds for Title I are used to pay all of our aides, a lot of our support staff. And so that's where we're able to pay a lot of them, and so we try to use Title II and Title IV similar to that. Title III is a very small allotment, that's for bilingual, and that one again is used purely for bilingual. I know that Mrs. Isaiah Rodriguez, she uses it in the summer, for the summer bilingual programs with the early education students. If we can go on to the next slide. And this is the one that I wanted to show you. Again, what I talked about the transferability. And again, that is an option that is allowed for all school districts, and really what it means, like I said, is it allows us to use those Title II and Title IV funds under the rules or eligibility of Title I. So it gives us a little bit more flexibility. And then at the bottom, again, I just wanted to show just the last 5 years. And if you can see, almost all of our grants have been going down slightly. If you can see the ones for migrant, that is, those are the final amounts prior to this planning year. And that's, like I said, it's about 80,000, 100,000 that gets added because of, from COVID. And so he's been trying to use those up as best as he can with the migrant students. We're hoping that we can get back to that 5% migrant population. This past year was the first year that we didn't meet it. And so that does help us with our attendance, with our ADA and things like that. But if there's any questions on the amounts or.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, since the amounts are decreasing, you know, and it looks like significantly from 25, 26, 23, 2,309,000 to now 1,956,000, and you say that this is what pays our aid.
Yep.
If it continues to decrease, do you have an estimation of when it's gonna kind of meet?
So every year we take a look at it. So like, for example, in these past 5 years, we have had to move, at one point, 100% of our aides got paid from title. And right now, that's not the case. We do
Okay.
have some library aides, some PE aides, I know we also have the computer lab aides, and some of our special ed aides that we pay out of 199 because we just don't have enough in those.
Okay.
So yeah, the answer is, we move them over, so then of course that adds on onto our budget, right, when we prepare our regular budget. So we always have to take that into account.
So we're already,
Yes, we are,
Oh,
we
okay.
already, yeah, yes ma'am.
okay.
Any other questions, Mr. Cespedes? Okay, I'm assuming you were done, sir?
Yes, that was it, if there was no other questions or any comments on this.
No other questions, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cespedes. This is, okay, so we already asked the auditor questions. It is now 6:08 PM. And we will close the open public meeting and reconvene to the regular scheduled board meeting. The first information item is discussion of Superintendent Promise Goal 4, Activity 2, the bond project update.
Yes, Board President, before Mr. Cespedes presents, we have had a lot of movement on a lot of our bond projects. So, Mr. Cespedes is going to present, on some of the major projects that we've seen a lot of action.
Yes.
You can see one of them.
We can go on to the first slide, ma'am. So again, right now what we had is, in the last week, we had both at Green and at Dominguez, we finally removed the bleachers there. And they are on schedule, they did mention that they were gonna work on it about a week or two before school starts. Their plan is to be out here next Monday. So they plan to be out here maybe 1 to 3 days, depending on how long they take on each. So this is just when they were removing them. We can go on to the next slide. So that's Green right now. If you go in there right now at Green, there are no bleachers. So we have been talking with the principals, and we've already been telling them at several principal meetings, you know, they do have to maybe plan accordingly, because I know, for example, at Green, usually in the morning, they'll put the kids at the gym, so they'll have to find a different area. And for Dominguez, that is the bus pickup and drop-off area. So I know Mrs. Flores is working on kind of just adjusting that, and that's only maybe for the first week of school, for the bleachers. They do plan to have them out there. We did have to add some electrical power since these are electrical bleachers, but they'll be done by the end of the first week of school. Again, those are just the bleachers at Green and Dominguez. So we can go on to the next slide. So the roofing improvements, they're pretty much done already with Green, with all the roofing improvements that they've done. Right now, I think they were just doing some of the siding. They've moved on to high school. So right now, you'll see them, and I don't know if y'all have passed by the last week or two, they were at Green, working, you know, pretty as fast as they could. And really they were trying to do that because green was the hardest because of where they had to bring in their forklifts is literally through where the kids walk. So they wanted to get out of that area first. Now they're going on to high school. High school, they did the side panels, and I think that's where we kind of saw almost for 2 months there was no activity. So they're gonna start that up. They did mention that'll take them about a good 2 or 3 weeks. So we do expect them to be done there in the middle of September, and then after that, then their next stop will be at Sanchez Elementary. And if you go to those schools, the materials are already there, again, so they're on schedule. If y'all recall, they have until the end of November to finish all of these, so we'll continue to monitor them, but they've been doing a really great job. The next one, please, the marquees. That one, we've been working on back and forth. As a matter of fact, today at their shop, I think their shop is in Donna, they received the actual digital boards. So now, they've been working on the top part, so now it's just a matter of putting it together. They are expected to come out here during the first week of school. If y'all see right now, you just see the pole, but on the pole, if you see it on the diagram, it is actually gonna be some metal framing, because it's gonna be squared. And so these are the actual renderings of how it's gonna look. So we have been working with them. AEP came out, I don't know if y'all happen to pass by any of the elementary schools or green, AEP was out there. Because for Sanchez, for Sam Houston, and for WB Green, AEP provided us power directly from one of their sources out there, because that was a lot less expensive than us having to run conduit all the way to the center of the school. So that there we were able to save some money. So they really helped us out a lot with that. At the
If you
high
look
school.
at the poles, you'll see one side has our emblem and the other one has
Yeah,
the
the
address.
emblem
of the
and
school.
the other
I
one
like
will
that.
have the address, so all of them are gonna be exactly, and those are gonna be the actual letter renderings for the top part. They've been working with our technology department, actually, their main, person of contact is working with Mr. Vela, cause they wanted access to our IP addresses for all of them, so they are gonna be, it's part of the plan, they are gonna be training all of our, we asked, of course, probably the secretary, but maybe at least one administrator, whether it's an AP or a principal, to know how to use them. So we're hoping that within the first 6 weeks that we can actually start getting messages out there. And I think it's just a matter of how comfortable our clerks and our principals get used to them. But they'll be up and running. And we do have a 5-year maintenance agreement with them on these, so they will be maintaining them for the first 5 years. So that'll be really good. We can move on. The next 2 or 3 slides are pretty much the same. This is what I was telling you. This is at Green. So at Green, they did an overhead, and you'll see it in the next slide, right there. So they did an overhead to the nearest pole. That was a lot less expensive than us having to run conduit all the way to the center section where we have, the main breakers. And then if you go on to the next one, I believe it's Sanchez. So Sanchez is also gonna be overhead, and that's what they were working on last week. Now we can continue going. So now on the baseball, softball field, we were talking to the contractor last week, because we have weekly meetings with them, the owner, architect, contractor meetings. We thought they were gonna be here on Wednesday with the turf, but I heard that they actually came in today, just to bring in the material. And they wanted to get ahead of it, because Jeff, since he's been working on this before school, when school was still going on, he knows that first week of school is gonna be hectic, especially that little part of Canal Street. Even though it's so close to the expressway, he knows that that'll get packed. And so the 18-wheelers were out there. The goal is for them to start, they might start this week, but they did mention they'll start next Monday actually rolling out the turf. So that might take them a good 2 to 3 weeks. But they're out there already. These are just some aerial views of how it looks. It's coming along really well. Again, they are on schedule to finish also in November. So far it's been good.
Good.
Weather's been good. And I say that because other areas have been hit pretty hard. And we were kind of joking about it, right? Like, it seems to kind of go around us, which is good, right? For those that want water in their grass, it's not good, but for us, it's been really good with our projects. Next one, those are the actual that's the actual color scheme and the rendering, the letter renderings of how it's gonna look for the concessions. So
And the
lighting right
concession,
there-
we
yeah,
changed
the
to
concessions
just
and the
an
restaurants, yeah.
LF
And so that front
instead of
lighting
the
right there,
Texas.
that'll actually be lighted. Yeah, I think and I believe it's just the LF, I don't think it's the Texas sign, but the home of the Lions and Lionettes, it'll be like that, and it'll be lighted. And those are the color schemes that they proposed to us. We can go on to the next slide. So on the awnings, if you all have gone by Green, they're done with the awnings except the canopy part. And the reason for that, I think I mentioned the last time, The canopy part has to be galvanized, and that comes from Houston. There's just they're in line to get all their canopies galvanized. And again, that's just so that they could be rust resistant, right? But at Green, if you pass by, I call it like the skeleton, all the footings, which are the poles, everything's in place. It's safe for our students and staff to walk through them. They are hoping that by the middle of September, they will get those canopies out here. He actually said late August, the last week of August, but by the middle of September, we're hoping that we're done with Green. Sam Houston, it's gonna keep that same fencing around. They are, I believe this week, they're doing the sidewalk, but that one is gonna take a little bit longer just because of the specs on that one. It's a little bit wider, so it has to be more reinforced. So that one, he's hoping he'll finish by late September, at Sam Houston. Dominguez is exactly like Green. The footings are done. Now, if you all remember, Dominguez is not a huge canopy. It's just a little part that extends where the kids come out of the cafeteria, so that there's an actual covering. Theirs is gonna be the same as Green in the sense that it'll just be the skeleton, so the pickup and drop off will still be the same. There will be no delays there. And then we're hoping that by the last week of August, middle of September, they'll add the canopy part. And then the other one that we were doing, I think it was all those, and then high school. High school is a little bit more tricky. We've already talked to the principal, we've talked to some of the teachers there. So at high school, they have already thrown the cement. They're still trying to throw the footings, which again, those are the poles. That will have to be fenced out like Sam Houston with the green orange. What does that mean is that our kids that are coming in and out of the ag building, and I believe it's the math wing, they're gonna have to be going completely around. So that is gonna be a little bit of
Challenge.
yeah, and I say that because, we might get some complaints, and not just them, but staff too. And the last thing we want is a staff member or a student hitting one of those with the rebar and getting injured, so, we are talking with security and our teachers to help us out with that. And again, that one, we're hoping the same thing as Green and Dominguez, that, we'll get the canopies by the middle of September. But it will have to be fenced out. And then this one, just so y'all know, I believe Ms. Torres already had shared it with y'all, we have the HVAC upgrades. This is the one for the gymnasium, for the chiller plant. And it's been up there since last Monday. And then those bids are actually gonna be due next Wednesday, on the 26th, they'll be due. We have had a lot of companies reach out to them, but these, again, it's chiller plants for the main gym and the main building. We are still working with them on the VAV boxes, if y'all recall the 3 elementaries, to give us, okay, what's going on with those. On the heating, on the controls, where some rooms are too cold, some rooms are too hot. And then the rooms that are too hot, it is creating some condensation issue, meaning that the rooms are sweating, and the custodians are having to constantly clean those out, to prevent any type of mildew or things like that. So we're still waiting to see what the plan is gonna be on that one. Once they tell us that, we'll bring it to you all, probably to go out for a CSP to see, whether it's gonna be new equipment, controls, or other things. We're going, I think that was it on those. And then on the playgrounds, I don't think they have it on here, but for the playgrounds, we did talk to them today. They are scheduled to come out on the 24th. That one is the only one so far that they did delay it 1 week. We thought they were gonna come out on the 17th, the first day of school, but they've been delayed 1 week, so they're gonna come out on the 24th. So we'll just keep monitoring that and making sure that, they don't keep delaying that. That's the first delay that we've gotten, so I guess that's good news for us, and hopefully they stick to that 24th date.
Any questions?
Any questions or comments or?
Don't have any questions? Thank you, sir. The next item is discussion of Superintendent Performance Goal 2, Activity 1, Instructional Framework.
Yes, Board President and Board members, a shout out to our CNI department and especially Ms. Garza. We brought in for 2 days, we brought in teachers from every campus on the Monday and Tuesday of last week. And so they did some instructional planning, started out, Ms. Garza reviewed accountability to make sure everybody understood that. We also looked at blueprints and making sure that they understand, how the test is designed. And then looked at their own particular data when it came to Domain 1, Domain 2, Domain 3, looked at goals. I gave you a copy. These are our goals, and this is our map, you could say, for Ms. Garza, to get an A this year. So this is what everybody has. This is the district improvement plan that you approved. And so we believe that this is possible with the plan that we have this year. And so they went over root causes. One of the biggest things that they looked at besides the assessment calendar is building in a pacing guide, looking at the number of days that you have during the year, looking at your curriculum, and finding out how do we make sure that we cover everything and spiral in those teaks that we know that we really need to cover. So that was done for 2 days. Now those same teachers are going tomorrow. Tomorrow we have instructional planning across the district. They will be kind of the trainer of trainers of the rest of them and taking them through a brief explanation. They got accountability on day 1. So they've already got half of this on that first day. Now they're going in and working on their pacing guides, working together with their team. One of the things we're doing with pre-K through 2nd grade is we want to make sure that they have the end in mind. So you as a parent, when you go to open house, first day of school, if my child's in pre-K 3, I know what they need to know by the end of the year. So to be on grade level in pre-K 3, pre-K 4, kinder 1st and 2nd, this is what they need to know. And so then they can constantly, the teachers will be sending that as a monitoring tool, and add anything, Ms. Garza, that I may be leaving out, but as a monitoring tool. So for example, I have a kindergartner grandson, and not sure, like, I know how much he's reading, I know what he's doing, but is he on grade level, is he not? If you're not an educator in that, you're not sure. But if the teacher says for a kindergartner, with the TEKS, the state expectations is he should know 20 words by the end of pre-K 4, he should know sounds, blending, all of this, then you can tell if your child's where they need to be. So that's what we're gonna be working on tomorrow with the non-tested areas and the tested areas, the pacing guide, to make sure we're on the road to where we need to be. We're going to develop trackers this year that we haven't done in the past few years, that basically every student will, I have Anna, and I know Anna scored this, and to have growth, she needs this, and to be here, this is where she needs to be. So our goal is to have 50% this year to be on meets, which is on grade level, and that will get us to where we need to get. The questions about our instructional planning?
I know the assessment calendar,
Yes, ma'am.
that's basically your benchmarks, correct?
Yes, it's the benchmarks. We've also added a few assessments, our interim assessments,
Okay.
to adjust. Instead of using 6 weeks assessments, we're opting for the interim assessments because those are generated by the state.
Oh, okay,
So like that, it gives us more valid data.
right.
And it does a couple of things. We don't have to have staff that generate a test that the state already has.
Okay.
And that can be our assessment, and we'll know throughout the year instead of waiting until December how our students are doing.
And I get the assessment calendar regarding the STAR, but what about the TIA calendar? How is that embedded?
It's embedded in there. The TIA, the assessments for NWEA are included in there.
Okay.
Also, the early childhood assessments are also embedded in that
TELPUS is
assessment
in
calendar.
there.
Everything's in
TELPUS
there.
benchmark, the actual TELPUS assessment, so, we've aligned it to make sure that everything is mentioned in there, right down to even the assessments that they take for dyslexia.
For
Oh, okay.
TIA and for MAP, we actually had a half a day in service. Teachers asked for that, to learn more about, tell me about MAP, tell me about the reports, so that they would understand. And MAP is kind of like, where do they start out, and are they showing growth? It's just another assessment, not STAR, not on specific TEKS, but overall general, how are they doing? Kind of reminds me of the old California Achievement Test type of
Yes.
thing, kind of like that.
And that'll be the same for the junior high?
Yes, we have an assessment calendar for elementary, an assessment calendar for junior high, an assessment calendar for high school. They have to be a little bit different
Right.
because of what they test, but there's 3 different assessment calendars.
I do have a question. Is any of this information integrated into Skyward for the parents to be notified? I know that Skyward has all the assessment where they land every other year, whenever they take it. Are you guys informing the parents in that way as well, how Skyward works with, their child, where they're at in the assessment?
We will make sure that the parents get the information. I don't think it can go through Skyward like that. There's certain things, because it has to go through DMAC. Correct me if I'm wrong, how are we going to notify parents as we go along?
So the notification can be used through different components such as Parent Square. But right now it's not integrated in Skyward.
Is it possible to integrate it in Skyward?
It's more of a communication component, so it's easier just to share that assessment calendar with parents in forms such as Parent Square.
And then as far as here's what their tracker is, this is where they need to go. And so if your son has a tracker and got masters last year, well, this is what he has to score to maintain masters. And this is what he has to do, and this is what he did on his first assessment, and that can be shared through.
And so we're looking at, based on the district improvement plan, at two types of trackers. One is where the student is tracking themselves for that student ownership, and then another one, overall with the teacher and the, campus, so that the campus and the teacher are monitoring the student. So like that's, it's not just the teacher monitoring, but the student taking that ownership.
So the student are mainly for what, middle school, high school, the elementary is for what? The
For
parents?
everybody, we want all the kids regardless of the grade, even kindergarten, you know, if you, and of course you want it kid friendly depending on the grade level. You want the kid to be able to be motivated and know exactly what is expected of them.
That is a completely different approach than we've had in the past,
Yeah.
and so that's something that Ms. Garza shared and that we're looking at.
Good job, ma'am.
Any other questions of Ms. Garza and Ms. Flores? Thank you, Ms. Flores. For consent agenda, there are 2 items. On the consent agenda, the July 2026 monthly tax report and the revised 26-27 test, Texas Teacher Evaluation Support System, calendar and appraisals. Do I have a motion to approve the items listed on the consent agenda?
I so move.
I have a motion by Mrs.
Second.
Montalvo and a second by Mrs. Johnson. It's been moved and seconded to approve the items listed on the consent agenda. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried, 5-0. First item to consider and possible action, the discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve budget amendment number 1 for the 26-27 school year.
Yes, thank you, Board President Castillo. So budget amendment number 1 that we're bringing, this is for Fund Code 191. This is our UTRGV, the Mental Health Services Grant that we have with special ed. This is the 3rd year that we have it. So the way it works is we have interns in school psychology, in social worker, and in counseling. And one of our professional staff, whether it's a counselor, one of our school psychs, or our social worker, they oversee them. So they also help out with that. So the funding comes 100% from UTRGV. And so the individuals get paid monthly through our accounts payable, and then the professional staff that oversees them, they get a stipend as well. And this gets again paid directly through UTRGV. The reason it's a budget amendment is because it's a Fund Code 191, so technically it falls under the general fund. And that's the only reason why we would have to bring that to the board as opposed to like all of our other like title grants and all that. But that's pretty much it. I know that Ms. Constance last time had mentioned when we adopted the budget that there was less amount in counseling or in social worker. These are the ones that come in there because we've been getting it through UTRGV.
Questions or Mr. Cisneros? Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve budget amendment number 1 for the 2026-2027 school year.
And do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Mrs. Martinez. It's been moved and seconded to approve budget amendment number 1 for the 26-27 school year. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried, 5-0. The second item, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve the 26-27 Senate Bill 12 annual certification of compliance without certain laws.
Good evening, Board President, Superintendent Ms. Torres, and board members. Senate Bill 12, passed by the 89th legislature, requires that the school districts establish a new annual compliance certification requirement for all schools. As part of the certification process, La Feria has to review its policies, procedures, programs, and practices to ensure compliance with these requirements, especially for Texas Education Code 11.005, which relates to prohibiting diversity, equity, and inclusion duties, and also the other Texas Education Code is 28.002, which is that only certain instructional material and resources that we provide to the students comply with the state law. including requirements designed to protect students from obscene or harmful content. As part of the Senate Bill 12 certification, we are confirming that La Feria has reviewed its policies and procedures and programs, and we are in compliance with the requirements of Senate Bill 12.
Questions of Mrs. Thomas? Do I have a motion?
I move we approve the 2026-2027 Senate Bill 12 Annual Certification of Compliance without certain laws.
And do I have a second? I
Second.
have a second by Mrs. Johnson. It's been moved and seconded to approve the 26-27 Senate Bill 12 Annual Certification of Compliance without certain laws. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0. And the last item is discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve by resolution a good cause exception to providing armed security officers at each individual campus.
Yes, once again, board, this is the second time that we bring this, to the board. Remember, Texas Education Code 37.0814 requires an armed security officer at each campus during regular school hours. The Texas Education provides a good cause exception for districts that are not able to provide a commissioned officer at every campus due to regular school hours, due to the availability of funding or lack of qualified commissioned peace officers. So at this time, we do have to provide an alternative plan, and that is that we would have a rotating patrols of all district campuses during the regular school hours. And I would believe that due to the security of this, it would be best that we all discuss this. If you have any questions of specific details, that it would be done in closed session.
And I can confirm that every campus, will have what we've had in the past. Yeah, we have to bring this up again as that waiver.
Any questions? Do I have a motion?
I move we approve by resolution a good cause exception to providing armed security officers at each individual campus.
And do I have a second? I have a second by Mrs. Martinez. It's been moved and seconded to approve by resolution a good cause exception to providing armed security officers at each individual campus. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried 5-0. It is now 6:33 p.m. and we are moving into closed meeting pursuant to Texas Government Code Chapter 551.
Oh, let me tell you.
Hold on.
Thank you. It is now 7:06 p.m. and we are now reconvening to open session. Let the record show that the superintendent approved the resignations of Rolando Cepeda. And according to board policy DC logo, the superintendent approved the following: Debbie Martinez, 1-year probationary contract for the 26-27 school year. Any district announcements?
Yes, ma'am. Tomorrow we'll have our back to school bash at the La Brea Early College High School from 5 to 8. August the 13th, we'll have Meet the Teacher for all elementary campus from 5 to 6. August the 14th, we'll have ACE Parent Night, Information Night from 5:30 to 7. And the 17th of August is our first day back for our students. On the 18th, the Superintendent Parent Advisory at Lee Facility at 5:30. Following on August the 20th, we'll have a community business and interfaith breakfast at Lee Facility at 8 a.m. On the 25th of August, we'll have fall open house for our neighborhood schools. And then on September 1st, we'll have WB Green Middle School open house.
And just for your information, for the parent advisory, we do have a standing committee of Mr. Briones, Ms. Johnson, and Ms. Montalvo. If y'all are able to come for that parent meeting. If you're not able to come, let me know, and I'll see if another board member can take your
And
place.
when is it again?
It is on the 18th at 5:30 at Lee Facility. And it should take about an hour.
Thank you, Ms.
No, that's
Thank you, Ms. Ramos. If there is no other business, have a motion to adjourn. A motion by Mrs. Martinez, and I have a second by Mrs. Johnson. It is now 7:08 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned.